Hello everybody, my name is Rue and this is my cozy corner of booktube, Rue with the Books. If you like books, you probably have strong opinions about book covers. They are the first thing that we see when we pick up a book, and they have a massive ability to shape our notions on what the book is about, the themes it may focus on, maybe even the style, the prose that it's written in. A good book cover is very important, and unfortunately, a lot of authors choose not to invest in a good artist to convey what their book is about and really bring their world and everything to life, or just to get people excited about reading it. Book covers are a topic that is very easy to get passionate about. In this video, I will be judging summer 2026 books by their book covers. In no capacity do my thoughts on the covers themselves reflect what lies within their pages of the books, but it's just a little fun something that I enjoy doing on the Rue with the Books channel. Be sure to press the like button if you are excited to see all of the book covers that I've picked out, and press the subscribe button too so more of these videos appear in your subscription feed. Today's question is, what is your favorite book cover? Let me know in the comments section down below. Be sure to grab a nice refreshing beverage. I've just prepared a nice coffee for my recording process. So yeah, let's enjoy these chill book vibes together. Rightio, let's go ahead and judge some book covers, because that's what you're all here waiting for. First up, we have The Children by Melissa Albert, and this book is already released on June the 2nd. So red is my favorite color, so using it is a very, very easy way to make me love your book cover. I like the use of color with a red background with black and gold as kind of the centerpiece of this cover. There is a lovely wooden cabin right in the center, making the character standing before it appear very, very small. It seems like they probably don't know what they may be getting themselves into. The fonts are very easy to read, and I love the kind of flair that the title has. It looks really, really cool. And it almost gives like a little bit of a circusy vibe with that kind of gold flair to it. I'm sure that's got nothing to do with the book, but I like that kind of style in and of itself. A really good cover to kick the video off. I rate this one 4 stars out of 5. The next book is Songs of the Dead by Brandon Sanderson and Peter Orullian, and this one is set to release on June 16th. We have a pretty similar color scheme to The Children, but it's a little bit more layered in this one. We go from a black and murky grey with little bits of brown into an orange and then into red and yellow at the top. It appeals very strongly to me. I don't know anything about this book, but it is getting me interested. It looks like there's some sort of monster that is a massive, massive threat to the city. And we see the city in the background, kind of in the jaws of this monster. The cover tells me that it's set in the modern age with all of those skyscrapers and stuff that we see. I like the reference to Queens of the Stone Age. I think they're a pretty cool band. And that's pretty awesome. I'm mainly not a massive fan of the fonts in the cover, especially for the author names. It stands out color-wise, but it looks rather ugly. It doesn't maybe wow me quite as much as The Children, so I'm going to rate this one 3 stars out of 5. Next up, we have the Reimagining of Thornwood House by Jaleigh Johnson, and this one is set to release on June the 9th. This cover is incredibly pretty and very colorful, and it immediately tells me that this is going to be a fairly cozy book. Some sort of very large, maybe even magical house is in the middle of the woods. I'm questioning if it's a little bit like the Baba Yaga house with those tree stumps sticking out on either side of the house, maybe acting as legs and feet. It seems that this could be a mother and daughter story based on the fact that we have a pretty large height difference between the two characters. This cover is quite magical and it's surrounded by nature, has a gorgeous color palette. The fonts used match very well to one another, and all of the text stands out pretty well to the background, so that's good too. It kind of looks like the end result of a jigsaw puzzle. Like, I could see myself buying this as just without the text and stuff to put together in a jigsaw, you know, find all those pieces. There are a lot of really great things going on in this cover. It's just not 100% my style. I'm not sure that if I picked this up, I would buy it, but I certainly would take some time to appreciate the sheer beauty that lies within. So I rate this one 4 stars out of 5. Next up we have The Field Guide for the Formerly Villainous by Autumn K. England, and this one has already released. It came out on June the 2nd. It seems that so far our book covers are coming in pairs. Book 1 and 2 had similar things going on, and now books 3 and 4 have similar things going on. We have a bit of nature going on in this one, a very fruitful tree with various different items kind of resting among its branches and roots and stems and stuff. We've got a potion of some kind. We've got a book slash maybe even a magical tome. We have foraging supplies with berries and fruits. And there's also a sword there. It includes a backdrop of a little house with smoke coming out of its chimney. It seems quite cozy as well. And there's also a dog, or yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a dog. I've seen a dog before. I like the simplicity of this book cover. The fonts are nice and they stand out quite well. And once again, we have red as the kind of centerpiece there, so that's nice. Easy peasy. It's giving a little bit of an encyclopedia for fairies kind of vibe. I like the cover, but I prefer the previous one a little bit. I would pick this up for sure, but it doesn't necessarily wow me. But I don't think that's a kind of intention that the author had. It's just nice to look at. So I rate this one 3 stars out of 5. Next up, we have The Devil and Mrs. Gooch by Oliver Darkshire, and this one is already out. You can go pick it up. It released on May the 12th. I like this cover quite a bit too. Wondering if it's maybe going to be some kind of Beauty and the Beast retelling with the way that Mrs. Gooch is holding on to the devil. I like how everything stands out in this cover. It's pretty simple, but it's making everything work. The red dress stands out well amongst the black, and then putting the goat thing in the foreground in front of the red dress makes it very easy to see, and you can see that it's on a leash and everything. Mrs. Gooch seems like she has everything well under control, and she looks like she has some sort of considerable wealth with the nice dress, the jewelry she's wearing, this kind of almost golden leash as well. The text has a bit of like a medieval typography set to it, which I like. And I also like that kind of faded gold appeal to it. It's simple and it works incredibly well. I can imagine this would be a really nice book to have as part of my collection. It would just sit nicely on the bookshelf. So I rate this one 4 stars out of 5. Next up, we have Sublimation by Isabel J. Kim, and this book is also already out. It released on June the 2nd. This book cover seems to be going for a little bit of a tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow kind of thing. It's a very simple cover. There's a lot of recursion and fading elements, which is cool. I like how the colors fade to the sides and everything opens up. You can see things a bit more. The text is clear and it stands out, but nothing really crazy is going on. It's a pretty good cover for a debut novel. It just doesn't really do anything to excite me, so I'm going to rate it 3 stars out of 5. The next book is Mossed in Space by Rebecca Thorne, and this one is coming out on July the 7th. Oh yeah, I really like this cover. It has a very natural color scheme, just various shades of green, some rusty brown, and a very beautiful skyline. You can feel the altitude that we are at. It's a very mountainous region. I love that kind of cartoony aesthetic to the cover. It reminds me a lot of the Towerborn game. I don't know if anybody gets that reference, but it's a pretty cool game. It's also giving a little bit of Studio Ghibli. It does some visual storytelling too, which is nice. It might be a kind of post-apocalyptic kind of book with a crash-landed plane or spaceship, or maybe it's just a crash tractor. I don't know what it is. But we have our 2 characters sitting on top and just relaxing, taking in the view, taking in the ambience, the atmosphere, They seem like they're very relaxed and kind of at bliss, but they're also watching each other's backs. I like how the guy has a mohawk. It tells me that his character might be a bit fierce, a bit brash, a bit outlandish, and a little bit full on. I think that this book cover is an absolute banger. I really like the way that the text is kind of a little bit grainy and it almost like sits on the grass, just kind of like this crashed thing also is. So yeah, I rate this one 5 stars out of 5. Time for the next book, which is Ode to the Half-Broken by Suzanne Palmer, and this one came out on May the 26th. This is a very cool cover. They have been very, very deliberate about the color scheme chosen. The colors are very washed out, and despite having a kind of similar theme to the last book, this one seems like it's going to be a lot more negative and pessimistic about what has happened. I'm kind of getting post-apocalyptic vibes here again, with nature taking over these buildings. We see that our main character travels with a dog, so we know that this is probably a single POV story about exploration in a desolate world, and I'm very curious about this character and maybe what this relationship with this dog is. If they're good friends, do they rely on one another? Does the dog maybe hunt for him, forage out certain things? The fonts are also very non-intrusive and it all just works very well together. I actually would probably pick this book up based on the cover. It seems really, really interesting. So I'm going to rate this one 4 stars out of 5. Next up, we have The Republic of Memory by Mahmud El-Sayed. And this one has already come out as well. It came out on May the 5th. We have another rather splendid book cover. This one has a little bit less visual storytelling, but it still does a lot and really kind of sets the scene of maybe where the story would be set. It's some kind of vertical type city, which I think is very cool. We don't really have those here on Earth. I don't know, maybe I'm misguided on that. And it has some very brutalist architecture. The way that the text is laid out means that you are picking apart all of the various buildings as you kind of look at it. We have domed buildings, we have separated green areas, we have graffiti. It makes me think that this maybe could be some kind of tech thriller or a dystopian or just in general quite a literary book. It gives me a lot of ideas, but nothing necessarily is concrete. But it makes me want to pick it up and explore this world and find out what the book actually is about. I rate this one 4 stars out of 5. And now we have The Redemption Center is Closed on Sundays by Andrea Hairston. And this one came out on May the 26th. What a fun little book cover. We have a big spooky house either in the sun on a stormy day or it's illuminated by the moon in the darkness. I love the dog in the cover. It's in a clear blue puddle, very, very refreshing looking. And you can actually see just how fluffy this dog is. So big props to the cover artist and his depiction of this dog. The cover doesn't really tell you much in terms of what the book could be about. I like that kind of Star Wars-esque text, and this book is supposedly a sci-fi and not a horror, weirdly, interestingly. So it doesn't actually check out. I rate this one 3 stars out of 5. The next cover is The Felicity Complex by August Clarke, and this one is coming out on July the 28th. This is a very interesting cover. I like the color scheme. It uses black, yellow, red, orange, and purple. It gives us some characters on the forefront. It's very interesting that the characters seem like they're erupting from a mushroom cloud, kind of telling me that they might be some sort of unstoppable force. I also think it's very interesting that they share a head with this kind of jellyfish type skin above all of their heads. I reckon the characters might be part of some kind of maybe hive mind or originate from a similar place. It's quite a simple cover, but I've been able to come to a lot of conclusions coming from it. I like the font, although I'm not a massive fan of it looking really blurry. I think it could have been a lot more, well, actually, I'm not sure if that's just the picture or if that's how it is in reality. But either way, it still remains easy to read. I rate this one 3 stars out of 5. The next one is Solace House by Will Maclean, and this one came out on May the 7th. This is quite a nice cover. It's quite clearly set in a house. Now, what is to happen in this house apart from Solace? I don't know. I like how the paths to the house look like they are weeping. They are adding to this kind of solace aesthetic. It's a very clever touch. And the art style in which these women are drawn and how they all blend with the drooping house makes me think this is going to be quite a literary book. The use of color seems very, very intentional with those washed out hues in the sky. The text seems very edgy for the title, but easy-ish to read for the author name. I like it. 3 stars out of 5. Up next, we have Stay Buried by Jennifer McMahon, and this one is coming out on August the 11th. It's a very simple cover, but I like it a lot. The combination of black, red, and white is very nice. I like the font. If it wasn't very big on the page, it might be hard to read, but it takes up a very good proportion of space there. I like animals, and this big black horse head on the cover is very, very ominous. It works well with the way that the cover seems very splotchy and ruined. I don't quite know what is in the horse's eye, but it adds to the intrigue and the terror and maybe even the mystery too. I wonder if it's a zombie horse or something else. It has me very intrigued, so that's a bonus. I rate this one 4 stars out of 5. Now, we have the Halls of the Dead by S.M. Hallow, and this one is set to release on August the 18th. It's a super creepy and absolutely brilliant book cover. I like how the skull looks as if it is actually grinning at me, and the pattern on the insect is so perfectly and purposefully lined up so that it looks like an eye which is staring directly into my soul. I love the use of color in this cover. They're very washed out and muted, apart from the insect, which is meant to be very visually striking. I think the font for the title could just have a little bit more something. It's kind of the plainest thing on the cover. While it is easy to read, I think a bit of extra flair, the extra touch could have made this just absolutely perfect. But I still like it very, very much, so I'm going to rate this one 4 stars out of 5. The next book is Headlights by C.J. Leede, and this one is set to release on June the 9th. This is one of those book covers where you just look at it and you think, what the heck is going on? It looks to be a person putting their hand in the jaws of a wolf to try and pull something out of its belly. He's got a little bit of string attached to his finger and wrapped around his hand. The weird part is that the wolf has laser beams for eyes, or presumably maybe headlights, which is the name of the book. From an art perspective, this is a very, very cool book cover. I like how bloody half of the hand is. The cover puts something cool right in front of you to enjoy. The title text is striking and it merges with the terrain of the trees. Some of it is covered up, kind of giving that naturey aesthetic there. And it's just a little bit of extra attention to detail there. I rate this one 5 stars out of 5. Next up, we have Reliquary by Hannah F. Whitten, and this one is set to release on August the 11th. This is another super cool book cover. It appears to be the statue of a woman rising out of the water, but the inside of the statue is a cave leading into some sort of building, like a secret entrance. The cover doesn't go too crazy on the colors. It is colorful, the red's very striking, but it doesn't use too many. It's got a very kind of set color scheme there, with a vibrant red, some black, green, and a little bit of beige. I like the detail of one of the windows being lit up. It kind of leads me to think that this house, this cave, whatever, this secret building is habited by somebody who, I don't know, but I'm interested. And I like the sun glow on the neck of the statue. It just makes it feel a little bit more interesting, a little bit more vibrant. The choice of the font for the title is pretty much perfect. It's simple, but it all just works so incredibly cohesively and gets me curious as to what the book is actually about. So I rate this one 5 stars out of 5. Up next, we have Our Sister's Keeper by Jasmine Holmes, and this one is set to release on June the 9th. This is a weirdly psychedelic book cover. There are a lot of patterns and recursive elements, such as the glow of the train, the interior lights, the spirits leaving the train. I like the dark, dingy colors chosen, which contrast beautifully with the lights and the sunset. I'm not a massive fan of the fonts chosen for the text, but the central art piece is just absolutely beautiful. So I rate this one 4 stars out of 5. And for the final book on my list of book covers, we have The Sleeping Sisters by Jennifer Givhan, and this one is set to release on August the 18th. The cover is very much a mixed bag for me. First of all, I do really like the background. The almost inverted and very saturated colors look super nice. The font is really cool too. It stands out. The size of it is just correct in my opinion. The main thing I don't like is how half of the person's face is missing. It's like hollow and there's flowers coming out, but like, I don't know, it's just kind of strange and it doesn't feel right since half the face up to the top of the lips is already there. This effect could maybe be improved more with the flowers coming out. If it was maybe a little bit more gory or ominous, there was maybe some weird insects coming out or something just to make it feel a little bit more freaky. This one has some serious potential, but it ended up failing in a few regards for me. So I rate this one 2 stars out of 5. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have made it this far, I hope that you get absolutely covered in new books today. I hope that you enjoyed tagging along with me and having a little looky look at all the book covers for the new and upcoming summer 2026 releases. I would love to hear if there were any that you totally disagreed with me on. If you haven't done so already, press the like button and subscribe to get more of my content. I would love to have you join the Rue with the Books community. If you would like to connect with me outside of YouTube, I have some social media that you can go and check out in the description below. I'll see you guys in just a week. Take care until then. Rue out.